Yes, good morning, good evening, or good afternoon, depending where you are in the world. It's awesome to be on chatting with you guys as we do every 2 weeks on Facebook, and it's particularly this week because we have it's the launch week for Mainnet beta. So absolutely all the fun stuff to chat about. We've got I don't even know where to begin, which is I suppose the perfect segue for me to hand off. So I'll hand you over to our CXO, Kody, and he can give us a quick rundown about what's going on.
Hey, everybody. My name is Kody. I am the CXO. And if you don't know what a CXO is, that's Chief Experience Officer here at LayerOneX. I'm excited to be with you guys today. Usually I'm joined by our COO, our Chief Operating Officer, Machu. We gave him the night off to be with his family due to a family birthday. So exciting times there for him. And we will jump right in and just start kind of talking about the upcoming Mainnet beta that we have launching out here on the 31st of August, which I believe is Thursday, if I'm correct on that one. And we just kind of want to go through how this is going to be starting a new era for LayerOneX and bringing us all closer together as we get ready for this launch. And what does that mean for you? And what does it mean for the next 5 months until we launch this thing entirely, right? So I don't know. I don't know where you want me to jump in and go, but I can definitely start wherever you want me to. If you want me to talk about something specific, or if you want me to just kind of jump into it, let me know.
I think perfect place for us to start with this would be, because I realize our Facebook listeners are probably a little less crypto friendly than say some of the degens on Twitter or on our live spaces. So I think one of the big things that people probably need to ask, what is involved in the launch of a blockchain? What is the genesis block? Where's the beginning point, and what does that all mean from what is it?
Yeah, so let me just take a step further back out and kind of tell you maybe a little bit more about like what LayerOneX is. So LayerOneX is a layer 1 blockchain, very similar to Ethereum, Binance Smart Chain, Solana, those kind of well-known established chains. And we are one that is very similar to that. The main difference between them and us is that we have our own EVM, our virtual machine that we've built that is compatible with EVM chains like Ethereum and non-EVM chains, which are like Solana. And so the interesting part about what we do in our technology is that we've unleashed the true nature of what we call XTalk or crosstalk. And that is our interoperability, where we can actually engage not only with transferring assets back and forth between chains, but also data and logic, right? So that means that you can talk to a contract on Ethereum and talk to a contract on Binance at the same time and have them interact with one another, which is very unique. Likewise, we have a universal gas utility associated with our L1X coin, which is basically allows you to only have to have the L1X coin to use as gas fees on any of the chains that we are currently connected to. So right now we're about 8 chains that we are connected with that allows us to do that. And so as we kind of move forward into what this what Joe was talking about with the Genesis block, that is a paramount moment for us in our L1X history and as well as in our ecosystem, right? And so with us moving towards this occasion, it is literally taking the first step of realizing the potential of what LayerOneX can do. And as we prepare to create this Genesis block, let's kind of over the next little bit, we'll give you some insight and we'll give you a sneak peek into what we can do and what you can expect during this phase. So what is a Genesis block? Again, it's the very first block in the blockchain, and it's hard coded into the blockchain's protocol, as well as it contains unique characteristics that distinguishes it from the future blocks that are going to keep adding onto this chain. For an example, some of the key features of a Genesis block and why they're so important is that it's the only block that does not reference a previous block, obviously. The other thing that it can do is, like I said, it contains a hard-coded set of data that initializes the network, and it also sets the parameters for all of the different chain blocks within the chain and how they'll behave and how they'll form, right? The Genesis block is also really important because it's the foundation of the entire blockchain. It is the starting point for all substantial blocks, and it ensures the integrity of the chain. And without the Genesis block, there would be no way to really verify the authenticity of any of the additional blocks within the chain. And so that's why it's so important to have that Genesis block. And so for us building that foundation, it makes it so that LayerOneX is just more than a digital currency or a coin that's just traded out there. What we've really developed over the last two and a half years is really become a playground for developers and other projects. We're releasing quite a few different smart contracts. Within those smart contracts, we're elevating the standards and requirements, including the interfaces, making it easier for developers to not only build on LayerOneX on our blockchain, but also deploy a lot of their own custom contracts by using our library of tools and SDKs that they can pull from, which will eventually make it a high standard for not only their project, but also users that are using projects within Layer 1 can come to understand and know and trust those projects that are being built on here, because they'll know that there'll be a higher standard. So that's the importance of having a Genesis block and why it's so important, and pretty much why we're looking forward to this upcoming Thursday.
That's awesome. I think you've encompassed that really well. And for the people that have been on this before, I know it's usually Matthew on here that geeks out and takes us down the rabbit hole of technology we don't understand, but it's okay. Kody can fill that role tonight or today. So I guess one of the things that, just as you were saying, that comes up when we're talking about the blockchain itself, what is a block and how it stores information. I think it's important to note that each block has the subsets of information from the transactions that happen on the blockchain. So it's things that you can check verifiably that have existed. So basically every transaction that happens on that blockchain, you can go back, you can look at, what happened from A to B, which makes transacting on the blockchain very transparent, which is one of the things I think that people really enjoy from a finance point of view, is that you can see where money originated, or not necessarily money, but assets, where they started and where they finish, etc., from A to B. So it becomes a very transparent activity. And I think that's definitely something that's massive for going forward with DeFi as well. I suppose how we tie into that is the next step from there. So we have a Genesis block, we have all these things moving forward. As I said before, it's our launch week. What's on the cards for that? What does that look like from our point of view, and why is that awesome?
So along with the blockchain, one of the things that I'm really excited about is the rollout of the LayerOneX wallet. And the LayerOneX wallet is pretty much one of the first, I believe, ever wallets ever developed by a Layer 1 specifically. And that's exciting because for us, we're re-engineering how users interact and how developers will engage with a wallet. So the first round that we're doing come the end of this month is that we're looking to launch our Chrome extension wallet, which a lot of crypto people or existing crypto people already understand what that is. For those newcomers that might not be so informed on how to use a browser extension, you go to the Chrome store, you download the L1X wallet, and you'll be able to interact with it. You'll be able to create your L1X wallet from there. And that's where the real fun will begin, right? And so with that wallet being launched, we already have version 1.5 that we're going to be rolling out here shortly after that. And we're going to be doing sequential rollouts probably every couple of weeks for the first little while. And then we'll be moving to monthly rollouts and updates to the wallet. We're not just stopping with what we have. I've been in crypto for, gosh, probably full-time since 2017. And it's amazing that over those 5-6 years that I've been in crypto, there has not been any change, real massive change to the crypto wallet experience. We want to take it beyond just a way to manage and send your assets, be able to view your NFTs, things like that. We want it to become a whole new experience. And so we'll be talking more about that over the upcoming months. But for right now, when it comes to the rollout and the Genesis block being generated, what that'll do is we'll provide a little bit more information once we get a little bit closer. But the wallet and the Genesis block go kind of hand in hand, right? Once that Genesis block is generated, that's when you'll be able to go in and start claiming your L1X tokens and how they will become visible within your L1X wallet itself. And so again, like I said, we'll be rolling out some more detailed instructions on how to claim your tokens if you've already participated in the public, the pre and the private sales.
Awesome. Yeah, so that's it. I think one of the big things, and I know Kody's very, very excited about the wallet experience. And if you've been in crypto a little while, as Kody said, it's just been the same. As long as the wallet works, it's basically input, continue, and it's now about how do we step that up a level? How do we make it more interactive? How do we make it do more? And I think there's some really exciting stuff coming out, obviously, towards the end of this week, and then going onwards about the actual things you're going to be able to do from the wallet experience as well. So very exciting and looking forward to that. If we can just jump over to Chief now and give him a quick intro of and his role and all the fun stuff that he's got prepared for this week as well. I know he's very excited. So Chief, over to you.
Well, good evening or good morning, depending on where you are in the world. But look, to say this is an exciting week is probably an understatement. This is the culmination of many years worth of work, and not just in physical time, but also the number of hours that so many individuals have put into this project. It is absolutely huge. What Kevin and the team have achieved here, all of us really, is to actually bring together something that the crypto world's never seen before. It's truly, absolutely amazing. And I think people will just start realizing the capability. And we see the guys, ladies and gents on Discord talking about all the various capabilities, but they actually still don't really know where we can take this yet. And that's what's exciting. I'll just talk about one that Kody and I have been working on, one around a project called Nickelcade. The potential there, if you just look back and go and look at products like Flappy Bird, that had 50 million downloads in 1 month. Okay. We're going to be doing some very unique things here, and Kody's pretty excited about this. And when we have these conversations, we just bounce off the walls.
I'm pretty excited about a lot of things.
Oh, he is, yeah. And this is just one of many projects that we sit there and brainstorm almost every day. Kody comes in sometimes and just sort of tells, I've got this one to talk about. Okay, so talk about it, and we go, yeah, that'll work, but this won't. Oh yeah, that'll work really well. And what we then have to do is capture that, and we then have to build it through. We then have to find the right partners to be able to work with on it. We've potentially got another trip coming up. We're going to meet one of these partners very shortly to start working through probably at least 2 or 3 of these major projects. And they are going to be mind-blowing. Can you imagine a project that can introduce somewhere between 8 and 10 billion transactions a year just on one little project? Get your mind around that. Start doing the calculations of that, guys, and see at a 1 cent transaction fee, those numbers really start mounting up. And that's just one little project. You start putting out 50, 100 of those. The valuation of 500 million, I've had people say to me, oh, your valuation at 500 million is a bit high. What's the justification? Well, one project alone will give you 500 million a year in transaction fees. So where we're going is we've got Genesis block happening this week. That is truly exciting. That very first block in the blockchain, as Kody mentioned earlier, that is the start of something huge. You know, we have conversations out there across with organizations around Australia and around the world around things like central bank digital currency, digital identity. Had a conversation with a government minister a number of weeks ago about putting driver's licenses on blockchain. Government, yeah, they're going to take a long time to start moving. They always do. We know the way governments work. But then you start doing that in private enterprise. And I'm having those conversations, as are others. We've got projects coming in, all these gaming ideas. I've had I think there's about another 30 on the list. And I had about 370 on there to start with in the gaming area alone. Where we're going to go is absolutely amazing and high.
Exactly.
So much crazy stuff there. I think, you know, once you said Flappy Bird, it was hard for me to get past that. That was the undoing of many people's university career, I'm absolutely sure. That's
wait till you see what we got coming. So
yeah.
Oh, you guys,
you're ruining my productivity.
Yeah.
I think a big thing too.
Might as well quit your day job because it's going to be awesome.
So I think
I'm going to send you a link to the first download of our Flappy Bird equivalent.
Oh no! I'm trying to be productive here, and you guys are ruining my production vibe. I think it's good to. Yeah.
Oh, by the way, it'll be in the wallet.
Oh, see, part of the wallet experience. You don't even have to leave your wallet to play Flappy Bird.
Absolutely.
What more could you possibly want from a blockchain?
And what if you could win out of it as well, and quite significantly too?
It's all there, and I think that's one of the things we're trying to get, I guess, the community to grasp as well, is how much is included in this one thing. That it's not just, you know, like I said, it's not just plug and play into other DeFi apps. It's not just being able to be interoperable across multiple different chains and have your, you know, decentralized finance all in one place at just one click. It's so much more than that inside the whole blockchain experience of one thing. And even I think if we take a brief segue here into what it means for online gaming, apart from Flappy Bird, obviously, being able to use localized graphic cards, I think through our first level style technology is a huge thing that maybe we don't talk about enough, what it means in a simple term as well.
Indeed, yeah. So what you talk about there, Joe, is actually what we call moving across from using WASM or WebAssembly across to using eBPF, or in other words, recompiling that code that used to run in a web browser, i.e. Solidity code in running WASM, which has a limitation of not being able to utilize local resources. Yes, it does still display graphics, but they're poor quality because it's being done within the web browser. By recompiling all that code across in eBPF, it means we can access the kernel layer, which means we can then access system resources like GPUs, like other system resources, more of, it can take over more of the memory. There's all sorts of things that it can start doing. The USB side of things, there's so much that can come into it. Something that hasn't been available in Web3 gaming today. We start talking with some of these gaming studios and they're going, you can do what? Really? Oh, wow. And just seeing the look on their faces and how excited they are about it, about what it means for them with their gaming. Finally, Web3 games can start performing and behaving like Web2 games that are installed locally. Or it could be a combination of the two. Imagine that you can introduce the blockchain capabilities and about smart contracts, and people go, well, what the heck's that got to do with the game? Well, imagine being able to transact and create your NFTs for a game, sell those out on multiple marketplaces at the same time you're playing. And I know we've spoken about that a few times, but if you want to go and introduce an NFT from another game that you've purchased, you'll have that ability, and it might run in a local installation of a game, but you're utilizing the Web3 capability as well. So we can have a hybrid. So many possibilities are coming out of the woodwork now, and it's opening up the breadth of thinking of these the developers in these gaming studios.
And that's huge for digital assets. I think, obviously where everybody's familiar with physical assets, things you can buy and take. And obviously when you're living your standard life. You collect things in your house, and when you go to move house, you move everything inside your house. And I think that what's really cool is we've taken that online. You know, you play a game, you buy a piece of kit or something like that, and then you're done with the game. But then you can move that kit to a new game. You can transfer these things around. You know, you get sick of that stuff, so you can put it up on the marketplace so you can sell it, or you want to buy somebody else's stuff that they've already leveled up. You know, it changes the whole dynamic of online gaming and how we interact with stuff. And then I think it's funny watching the journey as well go from, you know, early gaming, Web 2, for example. We've got pixelated stuff, or even, you know, you've got the really basic games like Pac-Man, let's say. And then we've gone through that again in Web 3, where it's like, oh, this is the best capability we've got. But it was sort of everybody enjoyed the retro rebuild of games. And now we're back up to that point again where it's like, oh, now we can put real, I suppose, heavy duty games on chain as well. So very exciting for that coming. And like we said, this is the launch week for our very own version of that and how that looks. So there's plenty to be excited about as well. I know that. Oh, do you want to jump in, Chief?
Yeah, I'm not going to give any alpha out here.
Give it out. Give it out, Chief.
I know you want alpha. I know everybody always wants alpha, but alpha gets boring, doesn't it? Come on, you can only say so much before you guys get bored, right?
Never gets boring having alpha. Never.
Are you sure? Oh, okay. So we had a bit of a conversation with this organization last week. Again, I'm not going to name names because you know, it's we've got nothing in writing yet. But we were talking to this particular chain, and we can foresee down the track that they may have problems with where they're and how they're connected at the moment. But with what we're doing with the launch of LayerOneX, we're actually opening up that particular chain to the rest of crypto, something that they've not been able to do. And they are actually starting to get quite interested and excited about it. They were trying to downplay it, I think, in the call, but you could see the brain working on the individual that we had on the call. So, you know, it's not just the fact that we're out there, we're able to link these chains. We're now talking to these chains, and they're pretty excited about what we've got coming. And I might not say that it could be one of the 8 we're connected to. I'm not sure. I need to have a think about it. Cody, was that one of them or not? I can't remember. Maybe not. I don't know.
I don't know. Sounds familiar.
Yeah, I don't know. Oh, I can't say that anyway. Yeah.
I feel like you do know.
Oh, absolutely we do. You're absolutely right, we do, but we're not saying
Joe,
that yet.
if you buy me dinner, I might tell you.
Yeah.
Unbelievable. Yeah, so I think the big thing to note as well is obviously, you know, we have all of these abilities. You know, we have the ability for the interoperability between chains, and I think why that's significant is it's not a competition for the first time between, you know, layer ones. It's not, well, this one's an ETH killer, or this one's better than this one, or this does this better. It's more so, okay, how can we all work together to create the best ecosystem, to take some of the best facets of this and some of the best facets of that? Like, this has the best TVL, but this has the best of something else. And how do we mix that together into making the best experience for somebody? And that's what we effectively do at LayerOneX, is take all of those things, combine them so that we can amplify everybody's ecosystems and strengths and make something that's even better working together. And I think that's what's the game changer, is what everybody's realizing.
And I think you're definitely right on that. You're starting to see everything starting to come together, which is great, because you've heard Mike talk about certain things, you've heard Machu talk about certain things, you've heard Kevin talk about certain things, and you've heard me go off on my fantasy land of things that I want to do. But really what I'm doing is I'm trying to coordinate all those coming together through a showcase of unique products that we're going to be launching out over the next 5 months or so, 5+ months. And just so that everybody's aware, like, we're not going to be building products all the time. We're going to be building the technology that fuels these type of projects. And that's what makes me really excited, because now we're going to be able to start bringing those SDKs that nobody knows. Like, just looking at them, they just look like a series of code, right? But being able to tap into the wallet, build on top of the wallet as an engineering layer, being able to pull in L1X identity, being able to bring in an ads platform, being able to bring in gaming guardrails, being able to build your tag for your gamer tag, bring in all of your gamer data. I mean, these things are just unreal what we can do. And most, like for an example, since we're talking about games, you know, there's a lot of game studios out there that pay hundreds of thousands of dollars for user data playing similar games so that they can model out their game and make it a good game, right? And you can tell the games that have done their research and their homework on their target audience, because it's very addicting. It's very cohesive for them in the sense that you jump in and you just know how it plays, right? And they'll spend hundreds of thousands of dollars, and this is just one of those aspects that if a gamer wants to release their data and get paid for that data, so that the gaming studios can use that data to their advantage, I mean, that's going to be not only beneficial to the user in two ways: one, monetization, as well as like being able to have better quality games out there. It's going to be paramount. And that's what's really going to set us ahead of the game. And that's all thanks to the L1X identity.
I think that's obviously the all these things that can be built, and what makes it amazing is we have that base layer, the technology's there, and it's the things we can adapt to put on top of it is what makes it truly unique. And I know obviously this is, as I keep alluding to, it's the launch week. And I suppose one of the big questions, I guess, would be how does the community be involved? Like, what have we got going on right now? Is there things they can participate in? Do we have, what's out there for people to be involved with LayerOneX at the moment?
So at the moment right now, obviously we have the pre-sale going on. So I would highly recommend, if you're interested, not financial advice, but if you're ready to jump on board and with the technology that's going to be revolutionary, I would highly recommend it. But again, do your own research, not financial advice by any means. Likewise, if you've already participated and contributed into the public sale, I highly recommend that you jump over and you pre-register for the wallet. And that way you can possibly get early access to it as well.
Awesome. So that's the thing. Plenty of things coming up. I think things that are good to note is what is LayerOneX as a token, and just as a wrap up. So LayerOneX, the L1X coin, is a utility coin. So what it's used for is the transactions on the system and everything like that. So as Chief said earlier, if you think about the amount of transactions that have to happen on chain, how many coins there are, and how much transaction fees that you will acquire over time, that gives you a good indication of what I suppose the future demand of the coin looks like as well. So knowing what the tokenomics looks like and everything like that is pretty awesome stuff to review and do a bit of research into as well.
Yeah. Look, I think when you start talking about the tokenomics, and people are out there about, what's going to be the circulating supply on launch and what's going to be this, we're putting in place a whole number of measures over the next 5 months, which is why we've decided on the Mainnet beta launch happening this week, and then the full Mainnet launch in January. But what I think people should be doing out there is, when they do their research, and Kody is absolutely spot on, you need to do your research and make sure you're good with us and that you understand what we're doing. We're not building this to be to just run overnight. This is going to be a lifetime solution. This will become ingrained in everyday life of so many millions, if not hundreds of millions, billions of people on the planet. Why? Because we're building the infrastructure layer for the future of blockchain to be so widely adopted across the planet that people just understand it as being, almost like the internet. Really, we do talk about it sometimes as being the operating system, because it really is. And that's what we're introducing. We talk, and you go in there and you talk about the ability to, we can do staking, we can do, we can play games on it, we can use it for healthcare. if that doesn't give you an idea of the diverse capabilities that we're offering, then you probably haven't gone into it enough, and you need to do more research and just do more reading, ask more questions, find out as much as you can about LayerOneX, because what's been built here is absolutely revolutionary. People talk about Web3. Well, actually, I think we're probably taking it one step further. Imagine being able to do decentralized websites, all of those sort of things, about a website that can't really be taken down. Yes, you can update it, you can update the code, but the core can't be taken down. That's something that's not been achieved. To be able to take away decentralize industries, you start looking at the big Amazons of the world and all these other corporations that are out there taking all your data. This is the time that we actually bring it back into to everyday users' control, and not just your data out there on the likes of the big corporations, but also the government. You want to be able to control that, your medical records, your history. There's so many scams out there, and we hear about all the ones in crypto, but what's become mainstream now is all the scams that are still happening out there in the traditional finance world. People are getting done every single week. We've got to introduce better capabilities, and what Kody's been putting together with the wallet, just touching on that again, the features that we're going to be introducing across that will start introducing so much better security out there than what is currently even being thought of today. I sort of described it to some people as being almost a circular form of security, rather than just a centralized security, say, that you have with your bank, where you put in your PIN and you get in there, or you do a transaction. Imagine other components of the wallet being able to authenticate other things, such as other wallets and your biometrics and your a PIN or a password as well, and all those things will actually authenticate each other to prove that you are who you are. They're the sort of things that we're starting to introduce, and that will then apply across to things like your I mentioned before about driver's license. Imagine that. How do you make a driver's license secure on the blockchain? Well, if a policeman pulls you over and he wants to scan your license, he's actually accessing the blockchain, which is out there in the be out there on a government network, where he can verify that is the person sitting in front of him. It won't just be a fake ID sitting in front of him. He'll be able to verify that ID is real in that instant. Your healthcare records, your being able to go into a doctor and authorize them access to it. So many things are coming that put control back in the hands of the user. And I always like to talk about the actual use cases themselves. The tech is fantastic. Don't get me wrong. I've spent time in there, and I'm very privileged to have sat in there on many occasions talking with Kevin and actually watching him code. How many people have sat there watching founders code the likes of some of the big blockchain, Bitcoin or Ethereum or any of those, Polygon, any of those? We've done that. Kody's sat in there as well. It's a privilege. We're there at the absolute beginning of all of this.
If that doesn't make you want to drop some alpha for the fans, I don't know what will.
I can't do any more alpha. Nah.
No more alpha for the night. So I think that gives it a pretty good encompassment. And I know we talked about, Chief, before you jumped on, what is blockchain, what is the Genesis block, and just moving back to data and what you're saying. So we would have each block that's generated. Obviously, this data gets stored inside these blocks, which gives us, as we said, that verifiable ability to check that this is authentic, this is real. And we were talking about healthcare records, we're talking about your driver's license, and it gives that once again, that transparency, because everything is there on the blockchain. And this is what, this is where the future is. This is I suppose the next step in evolution of technology, as we were talking about. But let's look to close up and finish off on some positive notes about, what we've got coming. So obviously, if you've been listening, you want to know more information, we have a Discord, we have Telegram, we've got our Facebook. We do have a YouTube channel as well that I absolutely recommend everybody dives into. There's some great short clips of Matthew talking about, how things work. And I think he takes it from a really top level down to this is a simple for Joe type guys, how this works. And they're very helpful for understanding what exactly is going on. That's part of the research journey, as Chief and Kody were saying before as well. You don't have to understand exactly how something works, but having an idea of what its capabilities are, I think, is a massive thing as well. So let's look to have some closing statements, guys. Like I said, it's launch week. We have so many exciting things coming up. If you could if you could compact that into a couple of closing sentences, I think that would be perfect.
Okay.
Age before beauty.
Oh, great. Thanks. Again, please do your research. Don't just jump in uneducated. This is a whole new world. Just imagine back, who would have liked to have got in on the likes of Microsoft way back in the early days? I actually had the offer of that going back in time in my centuries past, and I didn't. I also sat there with a guy, guy probably everybody knows him as Steve Wozniak, who told me to buy into Apple, and I didn't. Do you think I kick myself now? Absolutely. So again, do your research. But if you want to get in on the ground level of something that's actually becoming and will become probably one of the biggest things in the world, is to become a household name, then you're on the right path. And you listen to the right people.
Yeah, to kind of echo that, we are definitely on the cusp of something great. I feel like the technology that Kevin has created with Crosstalk, Xtalk, is up there with the creation of smart contracts, in my opinion, if not even more, because it definitely does unite the chains. It does open up the world of opportunity when it comes to the crypto space. And if you've heard me say this, you'll hear me say it again, but I believe that we are definitely just creating the foundation and then the next use cases of more so than just coins and assets and NFTs are just scratching the surface. The next big movement in crypto is out there with somebody listening in crypto right now to this AMA. It could be another AMA, but they're getting into crypto for the first time, and they're going to be the ones. And we definitely want to be that tool. We want to create that environment for them to foster their ideas to take crypto even deeper than what we've ever experienced before. So I'm looking forward to what our community has to offer and support. And I can't wait for this week to get launched. That way we can start showcasing some real fun stuff.
And I've just got one little
cough, nickel Cade.
Yeah, absolutely. Just one little final thing. Kody actually heads back from back to the US at the end of this week. It has been an absolute hell of a journey and a privilege to have him sitting in the office with us. We actually met him for the first time over in Austin, Texas, and also a few other places around the world now. And to have Kody come across, to have him walk into the office, to actually see where all the genius is created, but to then add to that genius. It's been an absolute pleasure having you with us, mate.
Likewise. Thanks, man. Appreciate it.
Pleasure.
It's been awesome.
It's perfect. I think we've really wrapped it up in a nutshell as to the future potential of what this brings as well. But once again, thanks everybody for jumping on, taking the time out of your if you're on the east coast of Australia, it's your very late evening. If you're closer towards Perth, it's a little less late evening, and obviously elsewhere in the world it could be your morning. But thanks for taking your time to jump on and be a part of the community. We have a lot of stuff that's coming out, obviously in the Discord, things that you can participate in. You can really be a part of the community. And once again, talking about that foundation level, there's not another opportunity like this to be involved in LayerOneX at this level. So, if you're looking for something to do, jump in the Discord and get a part of it, because you absolutely won't regret it. So we'll wrap that down now. But once again, thanks everybody. Thanks to Kody. Thanks for Chief jumping on. We appreciate the time you give to the community and letting us ask all of the fun questions, and absolutely not dropping any alpha whatsoever under any circumstances. We love having you here, and we really appreciate it. Thanks everybody for coming.
No problem.